ready, but I'm about to explode. These poppers.
Come on, Captain.
Right in your face, disgrace.
Come on, Captain.
I've been running same face. Yeah. Partner stop killing. We need the power of the price, so tonight we'll start hitting. Then we'll work on the poison, all the hustlers dealing. When I tell you, nobody.
What's up, man? We in the building. No, Nelson. We in the building. I did it back. That's right. That's right. Turn down. Stop running, man. Let's go. Y'all ready? And we gonna get started. Let's get started. Hold up. Let's get started. Are y'all ready? Y'all ready? Y'all ready? Let's start the show. Huh? Y'all ain't let y'all friends know. Huh? I got a point message. Let's go. I'll be that one you gon' remember. What's up, Black Light? I'ma be that one you gon' remember. Can y'all hear me? I'll be that one you gon' remember. So I can make front lines. It's a long call my number. I'll be that one. Man, check this out. I'ma be that one you gon' remember. That's right. Yeah. I'll be that one you gon' remember. So I can make front lines. It's a long call my number. Check this out. Check this out, man. I was talking to my enemy. Man, look. Man, look, man. Man, look, man. Man, boy, nice, man. Be nice. Hey, family, check this out, family. For real, man, we gonna get back to that, man. But listen, a little birdie had told me on YouTube, right? The little birdie had said that, like, look, this guy from Canada with the name of a K9, better known as Cool Joe, he was like, you know, look, man, I want to go song for song with you. That's what Cool Joe said to me. I respond back like, let's do it, Cool Joe. I mean, let's go like song for song. And like, I'm always ready. Hitman Music Worldwide, man, send me some beats, man. For real, man. I want to show you what I do with beats, man. This is what I'm working on right now, man. Matter of fact, I'm going to give y'all a sample of what I'm working on right now, man. Can y'all listen to the words for me? I know I'll be yelling. I know I'm working on it. I'm working on myself. Work with me. Let me show you what I'm working on right now, family. And then we're going to get back to the presentation. You know what I mean? This is what I'm working on right now in the lab, family. Yeah. This is what I'm working on. Love Star now. You know you can sing the hook. What you waiting on? But this is what I'm working on right now. I don't know how it's going to sound because I'm working on it. Now, hold on 1 second. I'm going to show y'all what I'm working on. All right? Here we go. I don't know what that is over there. All right, here we go, family. I said never. Now no more. Damn slow mo. Now no more. This is what I'm working on. They just slow mo. That Cool Joe know that this is what I'm working on. Huh? Now no more. They just slow mo. See, I be coming at these moors, and it's very simple. Why I be coming at these moors? Because I don't consider these functional Moorish American models as it relates to the teachings of the Holy Prophet Noble Ali, the founder of the Moorish side. From across the border, you and your daughters, I make the little followers, you all out of order. I ain't taking nada, nothing from you crooks. Cujo Todd should be, I got them all shook. I wish Cujo would step up to get his rep up and get head up from the neck up. You gon' respect us. The elder once told me meet the people where they at, and you know when they're gonna learn, so you know you need the tech. Let's keep it simple more. I'ma tell you more. Either you wanna talk knowledge or you wanna go to war. Cujo, I will drag you by your dreads till you beg. Attach your arm, leg, arm, head. Boy, you don't want these problems. I know the low well. The policy enforcers be the same ones you go tell. Man, don't call them low lanes. Get on YouTube, they low game. Fuck like you about that. And I'ma forget how far I came. I never forgot my aim. I never forgot my ammo. I pray to Allah, but I still tie my camel. Let's talk about this knowledge that you think you have. Matter of fact, forget it, boy. Don't make me laugh. Down no more. What? They just slow. Now I'm gonna bring it back, man. One more. Let me bring it back. Let's bring it back. Down no more. Let's bring it back. Let's bring it back one more again. Let's bring it back one more again. Pass the message. Tell Cujo I accept.
I said never.
Down no more. Down no more.
Down no more. They just slow mo.
Down no more. They just slow mo. I ain't even finished yet. Check it out. Send him the message. Send him the message. I accept.
See, I be coming at these Moors, and it's very simple. Why I be coming at these Moors? Because I don't consider these functional Moorish American models as it relates to the teachings of the Holy Prophet Noble Ali, the founder of the Moorish side. From across the border, you and your daughters. I mean the little followers, you all out of order. I ain't taking nada, nothing from you crooks. Cujo talks to me, I got them all shook. I wish Cujo would step up to get his rep up and get head up from the neck up. You gon' respect us. An elder once told me meet the people where they at, and you know them in the worm, so you know you need to check. Let's get it simple more. I'm a temple more. Either you wanna talk knowledge or you wanna go to war. Cujo, I will drag you by your dreads till you beg. Detach your arm, leg, arm, head. Boy, you don't want these problems. I know the low well. The policy and force will be the same ones you go tell. Man, if I don't call them low names, get on YouTube, say low game. Talk like you about that, then I'ma forget how far I came. I never forgot my aim. I never forgot my ammo. I bring to a law, but I still tie my camel. Let's talk about this knowledge that you think you have. Matter of fact, forget it, boy. Don't make me laugh. Down no more. They just.
That's it, man. Death. I'll be that boy you gon' remember. I'ma be that boy you gon' remember. That's right. I'll be that boy you gon' remember. So I'm gonna make one line till the Lord call my number. Let's go. I'll be that boy you gon' remember. I'ma be that boy you gon' remember. That's right. I'll be that boy you gon' remember. So I'm gonna make one line till the Lord call my number. You a friend of the Lord, then you a friend of mine. I was told about my enemy, now hold my line. Don't speak against the prophet, they speak against me. When I speak about the prophet over the Friday, who was the first to remind you and bind you back to Morocco, the mountains, Mississippi, and Quebec. Told you it was a black, proved it was straight back. Tripping off trust, the enemy tripping off that. And here we go again, acting like you a slave. The same people taught Europeans how to bathe. And looking at women by the European hair. No, not for self, but when the men really care. Hell nah, cause they got a love for Europe. Whole generation take the pill, weed and stir. Yeah, love, no yachty. Gucci, Kodak, illegal, boss, lucid. But when the man for the woman look like the rubber, I'm just saying something. Check it out, that's the summer. Now, sight. I'll be that boy you gon' remember. I'ma be that boy you gon' remember, that's right. I'll be that boy you gon' remember. So I'm gonna make one line till the Lord call my number. I'll be that boy you gon' remember. I'ma be that boy you gon' remember, that's right. I'll be that boy you gon' remember. So I'm gonna make one line till the Lord call my number. All you super scholars holler. This arrow for the workers. You ain't pulling on the. Man, check this out, man. All you super scholars holler. This arrow for the workers. If you ain't building on the ground, you worse than a twerker. You look and sound good, but that's only on the surface. You're probably working for them people. Now tell me what's your purpose. Huh? Tell me what's your purpose. Taj Tariq been around 20 years. Super scholar. So they think. But he ain't building on the ground. So what's the purpose? What's the legacy we leave behind to our people, for our people? A piece of paper? More information? No institutions? Why the Jewish people leave behind institutions? European Jews leave behind hospitals. And y'all just sitting in the background talking about how they so tight, how they bloodsuckers. They leave behind institutions. Well, I'm only a year and a half in, coming out of the temple from people that I felt could have pushed me a little harder, until I had to push myself. But now that I've come to the point to push myself, now we're going to build something on the ground in real time. We got people coming together on real time. We don't care about your paperwork no more. I listened to a lecture, not a lecture, mind you. And then that's why I'm going to keep name dropping. Listen, family, this is just what it is. From here on out, I'm the vanguard of the Moorish Science Temple of America idealistically. That means I'm not claiming no grand body. This is Moorish World TV. Moorish World TV is exclusively Moorish World TV and the vanguard of the Moorish Science Temple of America ideal. So I'm calling out some names. Why? Because the Prophet Noble Ali give us a lesson. He says, do not speak radical against the church or any member of any organized group. Because we're to teach love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Well, this is a part of that justice. This is a part of that justice to these unorganized brothers and sisters that are misinterpreting the teachings and misappropriating the teachings of the Prophet Noble Ali. I listened to Sabir interview Taj yesterday in a restaurant in Philadelphia. Taj is continuing to regurgitate the same thing from 1990. You know what he had the nerve to say? That's right. That's right. Call me a troll. Call me what you want. I'm watching what's going on so I can take the temperature so I can do better. This brother had the nerve to say these temples are taking money and they're from people and taking money and talking about building buildings and buying buses. But where are the buses? Man, I heard him say the same thing from a video from 1995. The same thing. But the question becomes, why are you deflected? Where's your bus? You see, where is your building? You see, where is your institution? All of them stamps that you did put on these pieces of papers to send to the Pope? Huh? So let me answer this question. If you are representative of the temple, where is everything the prophet left on the land? Brother, it's gone. They stole it. It's gone. Now we must build it. It's gone, brother. The same brothers that overthrew the Prophet Noble Ali structure. The same brothers that overthrew the structure of the Moorish Science Temple of America. It's gone. But it's alive and well today. So I'm not going to make no defense. I'm not going to create a position for defense for things that happened of the past. But we got people alive today that's misappropriating the movement. They're misappropriating the teaching of Prophet Noble Ali. And so I go to the extremists, those that have gone extremely off the path, and I address it. Because in reality, they are affecting more people than the temple is right now. Then what y'all call some of these temple churches, y'all call some of these temple 501c3s going outside the construct of the Prophet Noble Ali. Ask yourself, how many people are they affecting? They got their temple groups, they're holding their temple meetings. But on the highways and byways, we got people getting killed over a right to travel. We got people getting killed over fake IDs. Brother, there's no need to restore what was lost, because what is lost is lost. That means you have to go and find it. I say we come together and we build something now. When something is lost, it's lost. Sometimes we make too much effort to look for things that are lost. Forget that. Let's build it. I know the construct. I know what it takes. Let's build it. Let's talk about Moorish science civics as it relates to coming into power. We're going to talk about that tonight. I got Ishmael Bey on the line tonight. I got my brother Shimzu on the line tonight. See, we're going to talk about reclaiming this power. See, this is the problem. This is the problem, family. Prophet Noble Ali, he went straight to the top where the power was. And he embraced it and made it his own, and he bent the system to his will. Tell me the last time Taj Tariq imitated the prophet. Matter of fact, I'm going to tell you this. How many people from the temple perspective have imitated the prophet and put a judge in a seat? I'm talking about not a judge got in a seat and said he was a Moor, not a brother that got in a seat and said he was a Moor, not a brother. I said from the temple perspective, because that's how the Prophet Noble Drew Ali did it. That's how the Prophet Noble Drew Ali did it. From 1926 to 1929, he effected change from the inside. He got an alderman elected. They worked for the Moors. He got a judge elected. He worked for the Moors. Keep telling y'all, there's no need to go into a court and ask for somebody for something. You create the judge and you put him on a bench. And your brother give you what's yours. You follow me? See, this is what Prophet Noble Drew Ali taught. See all that other stuff? Going up there and contending with that European? Nah, there's no need to. When you have the power to put yourself in power and your brother can distribute all the gold and the silver that are for the citizens alone. Do you understand Moorish science for real? Do you understand Moorish science for real? Do you think that a right to travel is supposed to be contentious? No. You get in and you make the laws. You formulate a coalition of 1,000 people. And in any city, you can put somebody on the bench or on a council. But you got to put your people there. This is how the Prophet Noble Drew Ali moved. Anybody moving outside of that is outside of the construct of the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Prophet Noble Drew Ali said, I'm teaching my members things to make them better citizens. Why? Because true citizens know how to bend the political construct to their will. True citizenship, true civics, not that old Taj Tariq civics and history. I'm talking about true civic lessons. True civic lessons. So reporting these war crimes to the Hague is a no-go. Brother, put your people in place so your people can administer the punishment. See, this is what people got wrong, Hitman. This is what people got wrong. People think voting happens where somebody show up and get on the ballot and you say, oh, I like what they're talking about. Let's go vote for them. And then you go vote and you come out and say, who you vote for? And you say, no, I'm not telling you. That ain't how power voting work. That's not how the Jews vote. That's not how the Italians vote. That is not how Kennedy got in office. You know what they do? Kennedy, for instance, his father was a bootlegger. You know what they did? They prepared him from a child for that position. They got their money right. They got their influence right. Of course, Kennedy had to take the bullet. Of course he had to take the bullet. Because he understood. He understood what it would take. And if he shared it with everybody else, and amongst other things, he had to take the bullet. If he would reveal it to everybody else, the whole construct crumbled. The whole construct crumbled. So this is why I tell people there is no need to create another government when we have access to this one to take it over. You don't remember? This was a federalist government. And they call it a Republican government. They call it a Democrat. They had a Federalist Party, Republican Party, Democratic Party, all of these parties. So stuff along, let me say it again so that people don't mix my words. It's a Federalist government. My bad. They had a Federalist Party, the Whig Party, the Republican Party, the Democratic Party. We don't need to create a party. All we need to do is get the numbers to get behind one good person in every good city, and it become ours. That's all we got to do. Man, join the virtual Moorish Science Temple of America so I can teach you these lessons that's critical for our next generation. For our next generation. Period, point blank. Man, I don't need and tell me what's your purpose. Ain't worried about your homie, but know that I know every moment that I can play is. He ain't my slow, yeah, you know I ain't slow. I see it all before. I can try to put a profit and was all for show. And somebody right now don't say that I'm not down. I'm coming for my past mistakes. I want my town, my sheriff, my source, my soul, my nation. Sick and tired of the procrastination and debate. Y'all hate when love is the savior. You know I can suffer, can't suffer later. That's why let's cut it out. So I want to get the show started, right? But listen, the Prophet Noble Ali asked the boys a question. Do you want your own sheriff? Do you think the Prophet Noble Ali was talking about creating a new sheriff department? No. What you do is the same way everybody else do. You come, you organize, you strategize, and you execute. This was the purpose of the Moorish Science Temple of America. It gave us what would you call that when a plane take off? You know what I'm talking about, whatever it is. You know, when the plane take off, it gave us a landing strip and it gave us a takeoff strip. I'm making some stuff up, but you understand what I'm saying. I'm just pumped up, man. That the Moorish Science Temple of America is an organization that was predicated upon eradicating the misunderstanding of how government worked and how everything was against us. A runway. Thank you, Ishmael Bey. You know what I mean? A runway. You feel me? Huh? Brother, this water. That's water, brother. Seriously, I don't drink. Brother say, what I'm drinking in that cup? Brother, this water. I don't drink, brother. Ice water. Ice water. Look, yeah. So that's what it is, family. So the brother said, what are the major things that everybody claiming government, 5 governments for 1 people? British and Columbia is laughing. Exactly, Michael Bay. Sadat, exactly. How are you going to have the Moorish American government? They teach one thing for Moors. Then you have Taj with the Moorish National and Divine Movement, so he said, they teach another thing. And then you got, oh yeah, hold up, family that's on the panel. I got to talk about one more thing for y'all come in. And then you got the Moorish American National Republic, Bratton Bay teaching another thing. Up jump the boogie, up jump the boogie. You did this one, Sadat, because I got to say something. And then I'm going to let my people come in. Brother Sadat, you did it. You did it. Who made that comment right there? Because I don't believe in that. I'm going to tell the truth. Who said that? Yep. Sadat said it. He said it. He said that's one of the major problems. Everybody claiming they government, 5 governments for 1 people. British Columbia laughing. Sadat, you're absolutely right. But we don't have to create another government. That's one thing. And I can teach people the construct of how we do what we got to do. But hey, Sadat, you did it. I want y'all know that I'm going to Pradex, Wingo. Yeah, you're right. Mr. Wingo, you're right. I'm going to send a message to Roy, LL Roy Bay. LL, y'all get it, Roy Bay. So, I really do like Roy Bay, but I did a show the other day talking about people saying that they were from the Moorish American Republic. Brother Primo Bay, I've been in the Moorish Science Temple of America over 20 years, brother. But my style is unorthodox. Know that. But if you want to talk to me about Moorish science and some of the concepts, you can email me at taharkabay@yahoo.com or taharkabay@gmail.com. I'll give you my number. Anybody. So anyway, I actually like Roy Bay. But I made a statement that we need some answers, that people are squatting in houses And they're claiming to be a part of the group of Moors that Roy Bay says that he is the spokesman for. Now, he told me that in private, but when I put it on the flyer, he said, oh, I ain't no spokesman. So I think he was jacking titles. He was jacking for titles. You know what I mean? Not jacking for beats. He was jacking for titles. So Roy Bay now is going around saying that, I mean, one of the dumbest arguments, you want to be like Sinetta. Oh, for what? No, Sinetta has created a gate for us to go through from different perspectives and teaching our people, which is called YouTube, and what you will call being interfacing with our people by the way of YouTube. Sinetta is the biggest name in it, but I don't want to be Sinetta. But he uses that to try to say that I'm going to do something for views. Roy Bay, I get real money. I really do. Like real money, fiat. Like the same fiat that Todd said is fake and that he charges people for, them little stamps, I get real money. So this YouTube is not that. This is for the love of my people. So you got me wrong right there. But anyway, coming next Sunday, family, we're going to do a show. And that show is going to be the misrepresentation of the Prophet Noble Drew Ali's teachings by the Moorish American National Republic. So if you have friends that are a part of the Moorish American National Republic, I ask you to encourage them. I'm not going to slander. I'm going to have slides with proof of what I'm saying. I'm going to have Noble Drew Ali say, same thing I say Taj don't teach Moorish science according to the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. I'm going to have proof. I'm going to have what Prophet Noble Drew Ali say, what Bratton Bass say. I'm going to have total proof. And so I encourage people to save their money. Stop sending them people your money for nationality, for naturalization. Stop it. The Prophet say it's free. You don't need to pay for no classes to know who you are. Pick up a book. Or come talk to Brother Tahaka Bay. I tell you for free. My phone jump off every day. I tell you for free. But if you join the virtual temple, we're going by the requirements of the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. It's a dues-paying organization called the Moorish Science Temple of America. I'm a fully chartered Moorish Science Temple of America temple. So I got to go by the rules as laid by the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. But the dues haven't changed since 1929. Because it's not about making money. It's not about making money. It's about teaching our people and people dedicating themselves. So with that, I talk on some more. I might go live tomorrow and give y'all a snapshot of what I'm going to do this weekend. Man, because I got to dismantle this nonsense. I got to do it. But with that, I got my brother, man. I'm going to let my brother bring himself in. Shimzy, are you there, my brother?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. How we doing?
How you doing, my brother? I would like you to introduce yourself real quick to the family, and we're going to get this thing rolling, and I'm going to fall back, and I'm going to take in some information myself. Islam, peace and love.
Islam to the family. This your brother, Shezmu Patah Amun. You know, I rep, a Kemetic name, but I'm a Moor. I'm a Moor out of Delaware, Cheswold, Delaware, a Lenny Lenape Moor.
Oh, you been not talking about no ties now. You know you be in Delaware.
But I'm about building. Yeah. I'm about building. I'm about justice, feet on the ground. You know, I've been just monitoring and maintaining in the background of this YouTube environment on social media and stuff. I still post on Facebook this here and there, and but yeah, I keep an eye on what's going on. My ear is to the ground. I love building lessons, but man, you got me hyped up. Talking about work and putting in, I'm always feeling guilty about how much work or what little work I have put into the community. But I've been around for about 4 or 5 years on the YouTube scene, but I've been studying knowledge for 20, 25 years.
Yeah.
You know, brother got a half a century under his belt, on the planet Earth. But yeah, I'm ready to get down and get into some of this information. been around for I've been a part of, not a part, but supporting the Armored Raw Squad. I've dealt with Carl Albert, from Israel Doctrine to G Consciousness. Brother Saw. I consider my spiritual father, since I've lost my earthly father, to be Dr. or Professor James Smalls.
Yes, sir.
I've dealt with him, quite a bit or a little bit. But yeah, I'm just all about family, all about building. Like I said, I'm a Moor. I listen to Khalid Muhammad, Islam to all the family. Let's get it in.
And let me say this. Let me put a disclaimer out there and let everybody know that when I make these statements about these organizations that claim to be Moorish, those are my statements. I don't want them to fall upon my brother Ish or anybody else on this panel. Ever. Whenever I make a statement, no matter who's on the panel, it's my statement. I stand by it. I say, bring the people, bring their information if they want to challenge any statement I make, and we can get it done. But let's not say, well, Ish was on there when he said this. Ish ain't got nothing to do with what I'm talking about. What Ish represent is what Ish represent. What I represent is what I represent. What my brother Shimzy represent is what he represent. Now, we are our brothers. We probably don't agree on everything, but we ain't gonna talk about banging each other brains out because we don't agree on everything. But some people do feel like that. So I don't want anybody to associate my intellectual conflicts, if you will, with anybody that's on this panel now, that have been or will be in the future. Brother Ish, the Billy D, the Rock Kim. Matter of fact, not Billy D, because he sold Colt 45. I'm changing it up. The Rock Kim law of the conscious community. What's going on, my brother Ish?
Peace and blessings, Greg King. How you doing, brother Tahaka? Great to see you.
There you go. There you go.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Talk again, brother. It's talk again. Look at him.
It's great to see you, brother. It's great to be here with you. It's great to be with brother Shezmu, Patah Amon, my brother. We go way back. Yes, we honor Raw Squad family. But yes, brother, I'm telling you, Tahaka, I love the fact that you have opened up your platform to us all, and you just give us an opportunity to build on so many different aspects. Brother, it's so very valuable, and I'm honored to be here. So, thank you. I appreciate you.
And brother Ish, I want everybody to know, even the Moorish Americans that I may disagree with, y'all welcome on this show. Now, if you go far to the left, you know how I'm going to get. So if you want to have a conversation with me on this show, you're welcome to bring your moderator, and I will respect your moderator, because this is really about getting information to the people so we can do better than we have been doing. That's what this is really about. This is about information to the people. Yes, sir.
Brother Talk, I just want to say this, since you put that out there like that. I want to say peace to Taj Tariq Bey. He woke me up from listening to him from years back. Peace to Roy L. Bey. Peace to Ali's men. I even say peace to Dolo, the Mur. You know what I mean? I give it up. Giving me the sides and knowing what's up with the stances and standing on the square. But I just wanted to put blessings and peace out there to all the Moors, all the sects, everybody.
Absolutely. And I would love to have Dolo. If anybody know Dolo, tell Dolo I want him to come on the show. I want him and Yahshua. Yahshua, what do you call himself? The Logos. I want him and the Logos on one show. Oh man, the computer gonna break that day. I'm trying to tell you. But, you ever see the Logos? I'm the Logos. Tahaka. You know he did a video about me, but that's another show. That's my brother. But anyway, with that being said, tonight's show, family, I know it was a long introduction, family, but I miss y'all, and I just like to talk and run my mouth. It is what it is. But tonight's show, family, is going to be a definitely good presentation. What we talking about, family? I did a post not so long ago, probably earlier this week. And the post, people was responding to it pretty much heavily responding to it. And it was about the Black Christian codes. I think of 1774, if I'm not mistaken, or 1724, one of them. Anyway, but what I do is I look at things that affect us today, but that started from a long time ago. And the Black Christian codes, I was reading them, and I had read them years ago. You know, when you first come into the science, you want to read and study everything. But I think the first time that you read something is never like the last time that you read something, because you get something greater out of it. And as I was reading this time, I seen in these Black Christian codes, I seen our people functioning today under those codes without the threat of being arrested, without the threats of being punished. It's like they were functioning, and they are functioning under these codes without a whip behind them, without a gun behind them. They are functioning under these codes. And so my brother reached out to me, Shimzu, and we started talking about doing this show. And not him, not only him, another person reached out and asked about a few shows. So Conrad in the building. And so the thing is this show is about showing and proving that those codes of yesterday are now on I talked about the ramp to take off. So we in the plane area. So now it's on autopilot. Those things of yesterday, those Christian codes, those Black codes are on autopilot. Nobody got to put a shotgun to you. Nobody got to threaten you. Now we just follow them. And so with that, I want to see which one of y'all brothers want to open the conversation first. Anybody?
Well, I'll speak on that. You're definitely right about that. On open or on autopilot. I think it was Langston Hughes who said the greatest weapon that the oppressor ever created was the mind of the oppressed. And putting us on autopilot, he doesn't even have to be there. We're killing ourselves. We're being a consumer. We act like we don't want to read because they kept us from reading. All those things that created the quote unquote NIGGER, we are doing it, to ourselves. So you're absolutely right.
Well, one of the things that really sets it off, right? That when you look at the Black codes, matter of fact, I'm a screen share, and then I'll let you take it away. When you look at the Black codes of Louisiana, right, and you see one of the first things that you notice is number 2, makes it imperative on masters to impart religious instructions to their slaves. Number 3, permits the exercise of Roman Catholic creed only. Every other mode of worship is prohibited. Let's go again. Negroes placed under direct supervision of any other person than a Catholic are liable to confiscation. Now, when we look at our people today, our people don't have to be told to choose or to seek out information as if it's an infinite thing. Our people will grab something and be stuck in a box. Some will look at me and say, well, he got a fast and it's from Turkey. It's not from Turkey, okay? Some people will look at me and say, oh, those Moors, they study Islam. No, this is an infinite Islam that we study. We study the infinite principle and creed of what Islam really is. They might say, well, y'all do be wearing those robes. They look like something from India. Well, That is called a custom and tradition. And the Prophet Ali also teaches that customs and tradition don't alter the nature of truth. And truth is an infinite thing. You never stop learning truth. So we don't get squared and boxed in with cultural overtones, not even our own. We don't get squared and boxed in with cultural overtones. But when you look at our people, you see that our people are boxed in and they don't see no other way. Either you choose Jesus as your Lord or you burn in hell. And that's the mass majority of our people. And now when you look at the Christian codes, the code says that you ain't got no choice but to believe this. And when they begin to believe, you know what it reminds me of, brother and Shimzu? I'll let you take it away. It reminds me of them crazy songs, man. Like this song I like. I'm guilty. I'm guilty. All right, fam, I'm guilty. I think that song said, I think that new song I'll be on the radio when I'm on my way to go to work and say that thing. Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci gang. Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci gang. And now with the Gucci gang. Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci gang. You ever heard that one, Shizoo? Gucci gang.
I have not.
Oh my goodness. Man, this young guy, man, he said Gucci gang about 100 times. Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci gang. He said do this, do that with this girl with no name. And then he come back, Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci gang. But guess what happened? When I first heard it, I'm like, man, this is the dumbest song I've ever heard in my life. But I like to listen to Ricky Smiley morning show. I'm guilty. I like to listen to that taking my son to school, you know what I mean? And then when I drop him off, I like to listen to it, right? And so after a few times of that playing, I start turning it up. And I'm in that joint on my way to 7-Eleven. Give me a cup of coffee.
He said he going to 7-Eleven after he drop off his son, and he humming, he's singing Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci gang.
Look here, but I guess I need to continue to listen to the radio so I can know what my son is listening to, because that's crazy. But that was funny as I don't know what all I know is on that one. For real. But I just want, while he comes back, I just wanted to pick up where he left off on the
of course,
Black Codes of Louisiana. And I know he's going to jump back in and take over. And it talked about, the first one he said, makes it imperative on masters to import or impart religious instructions on their slaves. And it's hard it's hard to comprehend how people don't understand that this Christian or these Christian values or these Christian ideals were placed upon us, you know, not all of us, because some of us were here before, some of our family members were here before slavery was even brought to the Americas. And also, you was out for a good minute.
Right. Hey, don't worry, we held it down, brother. Don't worry about it.
I ain't even noticed, brother. I'm back here laughing at Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci gang, right?
We was laughing too, right along with you.
But go ahead, family. I appreciate y'all, man. Let me keep it on my screen right here. All right, go ahead, family. Take it away.
All right, so I don't know if you had heard what I just said. I was taking it back.
I was up and saying Gucci gang, and laughing to myself, boy. I was tripping by. Go ahead, boy.
All right, so what I was doing is bringing it back to the Black Codes of Louisiana, which just to give a little backdrop on that. These codes actually are French codes, and we know that Louisiana was under the French rule at the time, and I think it was King Louis XIV who, you know, the Europeans tend to glamorize with your Three Musketeers and, you know, all the different the foods, the glamour styles and all that stuff from that time period. But he ordinated those, made those ordinances, the law, or, you know, law of that particular land, or the codes. And he also they pushed it into Barbados as well. But the one that you said makes it imperative for the masters to impart religious instructions. We all have heard the stories of the slave master when he let the black preacher or the Afro or African preacher get in the pulpit. He was sitting right in there making sure that preacher would impart right, in their mind, right knowledge of being able to control the slaves, and slaves obey your masters, Ephesians 5, and different things like that. And we know that also in those black codes, they wouldn't allow them to because of they had revolts, they wouldn't allow them to come together at night on their own. You know, I mean, there were so many. You touched on a few of them: the Catholic Creed, you know, doing the Jesus thing, and we don't understand that all that made up. You know, and the thing about it is they make the Book of Islam so deviant compared to what they were pushing on us to believe in King James and his version of spirituality. And it just is imperative when they were creating the Negro, the colored, persons of color, and slaves, that they were pushing this Catholic control with these dom diverses and these edicts right in line to make sure that we wouldn't, you know, get out of line. Go ahead, Mo.
Indeed, indeed. Ishmael, you want to add on real quick?
No, the brother's definitely on it. You know, the Christian codes of the 1724, you know, they do derive from the French. It was called Le Code Noir, which is the Black Code of 1685. So that 1685 in France is what later on became the Black Codes of 1724, which is the ones that you're talking about, brother. I did post a video on the back if you like to play that. It's a very short video, but it kind of gives a backdrop of how the Black Codes were applied to our people, and it kind of ties into why we need to address the situation as it is today. Because you know, the song when I was growing up as a child in the 70s, it was The Last Poets. You know, and The Last Poets would say the song, automatic push button, remote control, synthetics, genetics, command your soul. Automatic push button, remote control, synthetics, genetics, command your soul. You know, it just, they say that through the whole song. That's the whole background. And that's what we go through. It's that repetition that you were just talking about. When you hear that Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci gang, you know, it's that the term, one of the terms of religion is repetition. When you do something religiously, say I'm a baseball player and I'm constantly swinging the bat, they say, oh man, he wakes up religiously and he swings that bat. So repetition, that repetition of what they teach and pound in our head, and the lies, you know. So as we, you know, say in Amara Squad, you know, a disorganized truth will be defeated by an organized lie, and that's what we face every day. We face lie after lie after lie, constantly bombarding us on every front. And that's what we're battling against right now. So go ahead, brother. What were you about to say?
And I didn't see the link in the thing, so you could put it back there. But as you do that, I think it might have dropped off when I dropped off. Maybe
I can play it if you want me to.
Yes, sir, brother. Yes, sir. That's fine.
Okay. I'm gonna play it. But if I just wanted to build off of something you just said, just to bring clarity to the Moors in the chat room. You got to understand that those individuals that came over on the slave ships, but the individuals that were here on the land, that became, when they began to push these codes and to push these laws and these statutes and principles amongst the people of color, they began to call everybody and make everyone who was of melanated hue to follow these codes. I mean, it made it hard. You had to almost go to court sometimes to say, look, my grandmother was Washita, my mother, because they began to make laws to where first it was you were the product of your father if your father was a slave. Then they said if your mother was a slave, and they began to enslave folk through these, across the borders of these states, and bringing them to different states that were enslaved, that were practicing slavery. And it became convoluted, and they were pushing the Native American, or Algonquins, the Cherokee, the Sioux, and it became a problem, and it still is a problem today. And with that, let me start this.
I found it now. I got it loaded up for you.
Cool.
Somebody just put it back there. Ish must put it back there. That's how Ish moves. See, Ish is the Rakima law of the community that we call conscious. He is. I'm trying to tell you, he knows some stuff.
I gladly accept that title because the God is definitely the truth.
So, the Rakim law of the conscious community, that's smooth. You know how Rakim said smooth because I don't get upset. What else he do? He pull the plug,
move the crowd,
speaker, and he eject. He up out of there. That's what he do. So that's what Ish do, man. He's smooth with it. He don't get upset. So here we go. Let me share this video that my brother Ish want y'all to. Here we go.
Speak.
So with that, I want to share some of these black codes that we actually see today. We actually see today. So let me pause that.
The Southern legal system became an instrument.
So what I want to do is I want to share some of these black codes, family, because we definitely need to understand that yesterday is pretty much today. It's just done in a different way. It is what it is. So let me share this. And let's read some of this real quick for the people. You know what I mean? Especially to my Christian brothers and sisters. You know, this is not an attack on your belief system. It's to try to make you aware how we became Christianized, if you will. It was by force. It was by force. We did not choose this. Now, people may say, well, in Africa, the Muslims forced Islam on the people. That's not so. That's a false narrative. The people especially on the, I know about pretty much of the northern tip of Africa and Ethiopia and all of that area, those contacts was made early on, and they associated the understanding of Islam to correlate with the natural religions of their homeland or of their native land. And so it was nothing for them to make the transition to quote unquote Islam. But now the narrative comes that that these pale looking Arabs are the true possessors of the Islamic creed, when they are not. Those are Johnny come latelys. And these people, if they would have came over there after all of this nonsense, that this battling with Constantine and all that, yeah, it would have been some bloodshed and it would have been well documented. There's not a well documentation of that. Most people in North Africa is documented. The Muslims came, they accepted the faith of Islam, because the Islam that you seen then is not the Islam that you see now. You know, so they chose it by choice, just as I did. I chose it by choice, you know, because I understand that Islam means peace. And who doesn't want peace? Now, I'm not talking about let me stop sharing for a minute while I talk to these people. I got to talk to my people. Now, I'm not talking about the Islam that people do the atrocities under. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about the bombers. I ain't with none of that. You know what I'm saying? Those that go in a village and rape people, that's not Islam. Those are people that don't even know the concept or the creed or the spiritual essence of Islam. They don't know anything about it. I don't care if they was 5 generations in. They don't know nothing about it. Islam means peace. Peace with Allah, Almighty God, and peace with every creation that stems from the source of the creation, which is the creator, whom we choose to call Allah. So I'm not into no fantasy Islam. You know, you ain't gonna see me trying to grow my beard to touch the floor. This right here, this goes back to ancient Kemet and beyond. You know, this is what my ancestor created as the light of the Mediterranean and beyond, in Asia, in the land of Canaan. So it is what it is with that, you know, but you have to get with me if you want to learn that. But my point of the matter is that when you look at our accepting of the Christian faith, if you will, it was forced on us and we cannot deny it. It's undeniable that it was forced on us. So before I pass it back to my brother, let me go through a few of these codes. So I start at the top. To decree the expulsion of Jews from the colony, makes it imperative on masters to impart religious instruction to their slaves, makes it imperative. Now these are laws. Permits the exercise of the Roman Catholic creed only. Every other mode of worship It's prohibited. This is forced. Every Christian sect is grown out of the Roman Catholic Church. This is not speaking radical. This is giving you historical fact. Permits the exercise. I mean, my fault. Negroes place. I read all that. So let's go back. Sundays and holidays are strictly observed. We're coming up on what they call Christmas now. Man, when you go into church these days, it's strictly observed. They come any and every other kind of way. They're going to strictly observe that the day of Sunday is the day of the Lord, which we know in reality that's false. That's been changed around. Never been the day of the Lord. But you know, due to European domination, they changed some things around and made it the day of the Lord. Because we know in the same book, it said on the sixth day, on the seventh day, God made that holy. And in every book, whether you want to follow a book or not, on every book, the seventh day was made holy. And unless they change the count of days, the seventh day is actually Saturday. Anyway, but here we go. Holidays are strictly observed. All Negroes found at work on these days are to be confiscated. We forbid our white subjects of both sexes to marry, quote unquote, blacks, under the penalty of being fined and subject to some other arbitrary punishment. And this where the taboo comes in, where all the brothers want to get the European now, because it was something that they couldn't have, and now they cease to look at their sisters in such a romantic or even a sexual way. Now they desire and foam at the mouth at these Europeans because it was something that they could not have. We forbade all curates, priests, and missionary of our secular or regular clergy to, and even our chaplains in our Navy to sanction such marriages. We also forbid all our quote unquote white subjects and even the manumitted or freeborn blacks. See, this is something that we're going to talk about on another show, that it was also so-called blacks that were free during these times. To live in a state of concubinage with blacks. Should there be any issue from this kind of intercourse, it is our will that the person so offering and the master of the slave should pay each a fine of 300 lives. Huh? Should said issue be the result of concubinage of the master with his slave, said master shall pay the fine, but be deprived of the slave and of the children, who shall be adjudged to the hospital of the locality. And said slave should be forever incapable of being set free. But should this illicit intercourse have existed before a free black and his slave, yeah, they had slaves too, when said free black had no legitimate wife, and should said black marry said slave according to the forms prescribed by the church was in on this. By the church, said slave shall be thereby set free, and the children shall also become free and legitimate. And in such case, there should be no application of penalty mentioned in the present article. But this goes down, if people have time, I want y'all to go and read this whole thing. I'll read some more as the show go on. But last but not least, I'm going to read 3 more and pass it to my brother Simpson. Masters shall have their Christian slaves buried in a consecrated ground. We forbid slaves to carry offensive weapons or heavy sticks. And this is what the gun law is all about. The gun laws today is to disarm you so you have no defense when the hammer comes down. And they want to criminalize you because they got laws that if you got a felony, you can't be found with a firearm. So therefore, you become disenfranchised and unable to defend yourself or your family. Well, this didn't start today. They didn't want slaves, quote unquote, black people, quote unquote, Moors, to have any weapons to be able to defend themselves under the penalty of being whipped. This is why them nightsticks be busting people upside the head and having said weapons confiscated for the benefit of the person seizing the same. An exception is made in favor of those slaves who are sent hunting or shooting by their masters. Now, you couldn't go hunting and shooting for yourself by your masters, and who carry them with written permission. Now, this is grown men and women, mostly men, need written permission. This is where you get the permit, the gun permit. This is the origin of the gun permit, right here. It wasn't for Europeans. Anyway, to that effect, or are they designated by some known mark or badge? Last one, and I pass it to my brother Shimzu. We forbid slaves belonging. Now, I want you, family, I want you to understand that we're transposing this in today's era of time. You know, the gun laws is to disarm you, you know, in this era of time. And I'll wrap this up towards the end of the show. Here we go. We forbid slaves belonging to different masters to gather in crowds. This why in the hood, everybody who congregate together, they think they selling dope and they use that law to make you disperse. They don't want you planning. They don't want you organizing. There you go. We forbid slaves belonging to different masters to gather in different crowds. This is the reason why the Kemetic community get beefing with the Moorish community, and the Moorish community get beefing with the Kemetic community, and the Kemetic community get beefing with the Hebrew Israelite community, and the Hebrew Israelite community get beefing with another community. The reason why, because we are being controlled by default by these religions that cause us to be dissenting amongst one another. Now, it's one thing to address the falsehood within the paradigm in which you believe, but to address the falsehood in a paradigm in which somebody else believes is quite insane. Like, who am I to call up Zion Lex and debate with Zion Lex about his belief system as it relates to being a Hebrew Israelite? That's foolish. I got enough problems in my own house of the Moorish Science Temple of America. I have no time to pull his weeds. But here we go. We forbid slaves belonging to different masters to gather in crowds, either by day or by night, under the pretext of wedding or for any other cause, either at the dwelling or on the grounds of their masters or elsewhere. We fight over these neighborhoods. Who grounds are they? Or elsewhere. And much less, yes, we own them in times of past, we have been conquered. And much less on the highways or in secluded places, under the penalty of corporal punishment. You see? Which shall not be less than a whip. In case, just like mama got, boy, I'm gonna whip your ass. Don't make me whoop your ass. You see, this stuff is brought into the day. In case of frequent offense of the kind, the offender shall be branded with a mark of a flower, deluce. And should there be aggravating circumstances,
I want to emphasize something right quick.
Come on, brother.
That flower that they put on the side of your face and brand, that is the emblem that's used on the New Orleans Saints. If you want to know what that flower looks like to your listening audience.
And it's Gucci Man, little ice cream cone, and it's pertaining to the teardrop, and it's pertaining to all of these face tattoos that all of a sudden come out the blue. Of course, these are ancient African customs and traditions. However, we are not doing them in the name of traditional spirituality today. We are branding ourselves because we are on slave autopilot, period. And should there be aggravating circumstances, capital punishment may be applied at the discretion of our judges. You can be killed for just congregating together. We command all our subjects by their officers or not to seize all such offenders. This is why they lock us up at the drop of a dime. And you go into a European neighborhood, they stand around and talk about lilies, horses, and cows, and there ain't no police rolling up to arrest and conduct them to prison, although there should be no judgment against them. How many people have just got locked up and went to central booking? In Baltimore, they call it a walkthrough. Man, I'm glad I just got a walkthrough. They just walked me through. You feel what I'm saying? They just walked me through. So with that being said, that's what it is, family. That's what it is. So are you there, my brother?
I'm here. Yeah, so man, this is such a great topic. It speaks to so many roots of issues that have been going on in our community. But not only that, it gives a light to what was really going on back then. Because you got to remember, they were just coming out within the last, let's say 1700, within the last 60 years, or if you say 1685, last 80 years, where the Indian wars were still going on. See, they had slave revolts. So they were having to try to control their slaves. And then when you had other slaves coming together from different plantations planning a revolt, you had Denmark Vesey. You had different things going on, which Denmark Vesey came later, but you had 1804. You had Haiti. You had Nat Turner. You had so many. They were trying to control the population so they can continue to get capitalized on that free labor. And it's just this topic is something that we could expound on, have a part 2, have a part 3, and I think the people would learn a lot from this. Just communicating about this information. It's a powerful subject.
You know, brother, what blows me away is that if this show right here could just be predicated upon reading these laws. And it goes to show that these laws are associated with us today. Let me give you another example, if you will. If anybody want to cut in, add on, build on what you want to build on. But listen, let's go right here. Slaves shall not be properly fed, clad, would mean clothing, to be dressed, and provided for by their masters, may be forgiven thereof to the Attorney General of the Superior Council or to all other officers. This was a legal thing going on. And this is why I try to tell people that when you think you are going to file something with somebody that has hooked the system up to keep you subjugated, you're insane. What we must do is come together and become the power that we think is being misappropriated. Our numbers can, man, anyway. Or to the officer or justice of an inferior jurisdiction, and may put in written exposition of their wrongs into their hands, upon which information, and even the ex-officer, which means the ex-officer, shall the information come from another quarter, the Attorney General. The reason why I'm reading this, because these are all legal people that have implemented something to legally have us under oppression. So it says, shall prosecute said master without charging any cause to the complaints. It is our will that this regulation be observed in all accusation for crimes of barbarous and inhuman treatment brought by slaves against their master. Now, forget if the slave trying to defend themselves against the master, you shall be charged and maybe hanged, most likely, to when you come to defend yourself. But now listen to this. 21. Slaves are who are disabled from working, either by old age, disease, or otherwise, be the disease incurable or not, shall be fed and provided for by their masters. We're going to get some food stamps about this demonstration. And in case they should have been abandoned by their master, said slave should be adjudged to the nearest hospital, to which said master shall be obliged to pay 8 cents a day for food and maintenance of each one of these slaves, high kind of them. And for the payment of this sum, said hospital shall have a lien on the plantations of the masters. How kind. We declare that slaves can have no right to any property, and that all that they acquire either by their own industry or by liberality of others, or by other means or title whatsoever, shall be full property of their masters. Now you may understand why you pay a property tax. After your house is fully paid for, you can still have it taken from you if you fail to pay a property tax. If you don't have water in your house, they can say it's inhumane because Mr. Charlie ain't giving you nothing. And the only way for you to change that is to understand how all people change conditions such as these. They come together, they organize, and they become the power that have been oppressing them, and they do not oppress the other people when they're put in the right position. Brother Ishmael, but you want to add on, my brother?
I do, brother. Maybe you can add some very important clarity for me, please. What is it that Prophet Noble Drew Ali, through the teachings, what does he teach about Canaan? What does he teach about Canaan?
Well, the out of Africa theory is not a part of the Moorish paradigm.
Let me clarify then. Let me clarify then.
I got you.
Because I want to deal with the people of Canaan.
I'm about to give it to you.
Yes, sir.
If I'm wrong, help me out. We don't deal with the out of Africa theory that man was raised up out of Africa. We believe and have confidence in the research that the land of Canaan, and where they say that man came up out of Africa, the land of Canaan is in Asia, and the part where man came out of, which we call Africa, where Lucy was at and all of that is the same land.
Right.
All of that is the same people. The vegetation on one side is the same as the other side. The European divided the land and called that Africa and then called that Asia. All of that's the same land. It's the same area. Same vegetation, same water, same everything. The people of Canaan is the people that we call African. And African is the people of Canaan. They are the same people. So when the Europeans,
Moors are the people of Canaan.
Absolutely.
And is that backed up? Is that backed up by any true professor or any true scholars that can prove that case?
Oh yeah. Sister Dana Marnici, absolutely. Sister Dana Marnici does a wonderful job of showing, like, even if you don't understand the Bible, Sister Dana Marnici, you can type her name in. Sister Dana Marnici does a wonderful job of uncovering how the life of man have roots in the land of Canaan. Absolutely.
And is her research independent, or is she a member of the Moorish Science Temple? Is she an independent researcher, or is she a member?
She's not a member of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Matter of fact, you will hear her use in terms like the Moors are black. You will hear her using terms like the Canaanites are black. You will hear her using those terms that we will not use to associate with people with national identities such as Moors. You know, we don't. No, she's totally independent.
Wonderful. So she's unbiased. If you can just simply post up that post that I have on the backside, it has. We're just going to post the black codes, the original black codes of 1685. Now you've been excellent in breaking down the black codes of 1724 of Louisiana, but how about we show the people the source of those black codes to the black codes of 1685?
Indeed.
Do you have that on the backside?
Look at that. Look at Raquel Alon. That's my brother there.
You got that, brother?
Okay, here we go.
So on that. Okay, you have it up right now. Okay, yeah, you do. You have it up. All right. So that's the slavery of the French colonies, right? The black codes of 1685. And then how about right there next to the picture? It says the first paragraph. What does that say, brother? The first paragraph.
The first paragraph next to the picture. The first paragraph. Good, and I ain't good with all of this French stuff. So y'all.
That's right. The English is right next to it.
But it says the first paragraph of Le Code Noir or La Caravace de Canaan, the Black Code of the Ordeal of Canaan by Louise.
There you go. So hold on. I want to pause that. I want to pause that because see, we needed to have a prophet to come and teach us who we are and where we derive from and why these codes will be applicable to us. And so we're not just dealing with what the problem is. We're trying to give you tonight what the solutions are.
That's right.
You understand? When you have a prophet that's sent to you, he's sent to you to give you a specific message, and he's coming from amongst you. He's the man who told you that there was a Morocco from the west. He was the man that told you that you have tribes that come from Canaan, and that is a part of who we are as Moors. He came to teach us this history. So you needed somebody to come and tell you that these black codes that are being applied to you are because you are of a certain people and you have a certain history. And those codes were put in place to control you in every one of your actions, how you eat, how you sleep, the way you work, the way you reproduce. And even within that Louisiana culture, that's why I went to that slave plantation in Louisiana to show you that Moors were on those plantations. Because there was a whole different culture in Louisiana, whereas they had to ease up the burden. Like Brother Shugmu was talking about, they were having uprising because the laws were so strict. And if you don't start to ease the tea kettle, if you don't let the steam out, you're gonna have a problem on your hands. So they started coming up with other cultures. So the Creole culture are the ones who are the mixed breeds. And these Creoles, they had their own set of laws also. If you are a Creole woman, you will wear your feather a certain way on your hat to let men know that you are a Creole woman, that you can have sex with him as a single woman. So they had their own codes and their own communication within the Louisiana culture. But these black codes were set up to be applied to the people of Canaan. I just wanted to point that out.
And guess what? It's so crazy, right? That when the European goes on to perpetuate this crazy idea to subjugate people to slavery, the weird thing about it to me is how the European, not only did he tamper with our psyche as to who we are, but he put it in the very book that he says is associated with God. That's what blows me away, that our people today continue to not even investigate enough, when right here I just pulled up Genesis 9:25, where it said, "Cursed be Canaan, the lowest of the slaves. He will be his brother." Cursed be Canaan. He started off from Genesis to teach our people that we, descendants from Canaan, the son of Ham, May Canaan be cursed. He teaches us this in the 1600s, and today we have not yet unraveled what has happened.
Teach hard, Ali. You want it, man. You want it.
What has happened yet? And this is a terrible tragedy, man, for our people to even sit in a congregation and not really consider the origin of what they are following. You know, if we want to get up out of this, these black, then that's what the black Christian codes were instituted by supposedly God-fearing Europeans to control a whole population.
That's correct. That's correct.
Keep you subjugated. And today it's the same exact thing. Mike Brown is a victim of black Christian codes. Freddie Gray is a victim of black Christian codes.
That's right. Brother Shazmu, what you got to build on? What you got to add on to that? You're right, Brother Tarka. You're right.
Yeah. Everything is right and exact from what I've heard so far. I'm on point. I just wanted to downshift like Ish did. I know he went to Canaan, but I want to keep it back in the Americas. I want to put something on the table and just to get some wheels turning, and even for the chat room to start to do a little research on this too if they haven't if they're not familiar with it. So supposedly the first American colony, first British one, was Jamestown in like 1609, right? So, and they supposedly brought a few settlers over, and they had within like 2 years, they had like 50 to 100 people, so they say. But in the beginning, in that 1609 or 1607 to 1619, some African descended individuals came across, and they were freemen. Some of them may have come over because see, I got stories a long time ago when I was coming through high school that when they were settling Jamestown, the when they finally brought some women with them, some European women, those European women gravitated to those tall, dark, and handsome individuals, and the European men had a problem with that. But they say that there was indentured servants, right? There weren't any slaves, but they always try to use technology when you're reading this information that's where slavery began, or that's it was like it was already slavery going on. They were settlers trying to make it. The Indians helped them. And then they become too popular, too populated, and the Indians said, "Nah, you're encroaching on our land," and they began to fight back. But those individuals, those aliens, those immigrants, they were free people of color, owning slaves and owning property. They might have did it. Some of them may have done an indentured 3 to 4 years, but they were freemen. They just worked for somebody for a few years, and then they were able to do their business, create a business, grow property, land, and do those things. But then you don't get into slavery until around about 14 or 1640. Look up. I want you guys to look up. Not us on the panel because we probably already know. John Punch, supposedly one of the first slaves in the Americas. Of course, there was also and then it's kind of tricky how they say, well, was it a Dutch? What were the Dutch in New York the first ones to bring slavery or bring a slave, or was it Jamestown? So just kind of research. I want to put that on the table to see what your thoughts are on that, because we also have 1705 Virginia slave codes or black codes.
That's right. That's right. And brother, I'm glad that you mentioned that. Family, there is quite plethora. Say it for me, somebody. Plethora. There's a bunch of these slave codes in certain colonies, you know, that is consistent with the original from the brother Ishmael. But let me say a plethora. See, my tongue is indigenous of this land. It's hard for me to formulate these words sometimes. I tell you, this ain't my fault. It ain't my. I'm getting it though. I'm getting that work on it. I'm working on it. But but look, family, check this out. So I like that my guest Shimzu pull out. I may butcher your name too sometime, but y'all gotta work with me. I want to share this that with the brother just shared because it's very important. Although we may be familiar with it, I'm gonna give you an example. Some people will be like, well, I post about this show, and somebody will be like, well, Taj already did that 10 years ago. Huh? He didn't do nothing that I did. Because I'm talking from a Moorish science perspective that is going to be conducive for our resolution and liberation. I'm talking about uniting people, bringing people together, understanding and identifying these things that cripple us in today's society. You know, these Black Christian codes are the same codes that kill our people every day. And in order to get away from that, first, we must get together. And I'm speaking to Moors specifically. The Moors are the ones who civilized the world. And the Prophet Ali says that we fed the world and we're going to do it again, but this time we're going to do it in love. But I don't know if y'all talk about pizza, hot dogs, and McDonald's. But we're talking about where I'm from. We're talking about feeding them with information that will propel them to the infinite being that they are, even while they walk on this earth. So this is the time right now that I'm taking this same information that you may have heard before and using it for today's. So let me read this thing for today's solution. Now check this out. My question is, were we actually slaves bring whips in Americas? What if cotton picking was everyday work for every day because we produce clothing? The Bible hoodwinked us being American. No, they picking some slaves. They picking some cotton, brother. Oh yeah, they picking some cotton, brother. I remember I went to North Carolina, the town from Nat Turner. Man, I'm telling you, I seen a cotton field first time in my life. I just stared at that demonstration. I just like it. Like, whoa, goodness gracious. Man, this real cotton. I always see it in a book. Man, North Carolina, like, goodness gracious, this cotton. Yeah, they were picking that cotton. But anyway, let me share what my brother just was demonstrating a second ago. And we're going to read up on this real quick because I want people to understand that that we is that it? That's not it. Here we go. John Punch. This honest to my brother for bringing this up. Let's read about John Punch. John Punch, James Gregory, and a man named Victor was all indentured servants contracted to Virginia planter Hugh Gwynn. These three men each performed similar tasks as slaves, and each also felt so exploited he was willing to take unimaginable risks to pursue freedom. John, James, and Victor ran away and were captured within days. Though fleeing similar circumstances, the fates of the runaways differed under the court's aegis. A judge sentenced all three to whippings. Oh yeah, he get whipping. He then added 4 years to the indentured terms of James and Victor, and both white Europeans. John, a black man, alone he condemned to lifelong servitude. John Punch is one of the first servants on record to be sentenced to slavery on the grounds of race. However, He was neither the first nor the last black man, quote unquote, to flee from oppressive bondage. Despite development of hard fugitive slave laws in the next century, runaway remained one of the most common strategies for escaping slavery. And that's just what it is. It doesn't matter what we think, the history is here. Let me read a few more things. And with this, I can actually go right to what I'm doing. And let me stop sharing this real quick and grab something else. I can actually just go and grab any one of these codes because they all consistent throughout the colonies. Now, I'm going to grab a 35. We permit our subjects in this colony who may have slaves concealed in any place whatever, I guess it should be whatsoever, to have them sought after by such persons and in such a way that they may deem proper, or to proceed themselves to such research as best they think. The slave who is sentenced to suffer death on denunciation of his master shall, when the master is not an accomplice to his crime, be appraised before his execution by two of the principal inhabitants of the locality, who shall be especially appointed by a judge. I grab these things and read them because it doesn't matter which one you read. It's atrocities that are perpetrated against us. And so as we see, when we see key things like judge and we see key things like attorneys, man, this is a legal thing going on. And now listen, the reason why I'm pointing that out is because some people think that the paperwork filing going to get them out. And I'm going to show you how we come up out of this. 1 second. And I'm going to keep repeating it. I just said it the other night. Slaves 14 years old and from this age up to 60 who are settled on lands and plantations are at present working on them shall not be liable to seizure for debt, except for what may be due out of purchase money, agreed to be paid for them, unless said grounds or plantations should be distressed. Any seizure of judicial sale of real estate without including the slaves of aforesaid age who are a part of the said estate shall be deemed null and void.
I definitely wanted to read it that the descendant of John Punch is one of the most famous Americans that have ever lived in this land. The descendant of John Punch is Barack Obama. So I definitely wanted to read that into the record. And of course, I don't just say it, I prove it. So it's in the New York Times, credible magazine, a credible newspaper, that the descendant of John Punch is Barack Obama through his mother.
Yeah, man, this just goes on, and I would encourage people to check these things out due to the simple fact that that these things affect us today. And now with that, I want to I'm gonna share one more thing real quick, but I want to say this. When we are given a prophet, whether we choose to subscribe to the teachings of the Prophet Noble Drew Ali or not, one thing we have to get out of our head is our, and sorry for my Christian brothers and sisters, but I gotta say it like it is. We have to get out of our fantasy Christian concepts of what a prophet is. Honestly, the fantasy Christian concepts of what a prophet is, Moses threw the staff, it turned into a snake. And then the Pharaoh threw his snake, his staff turned into a snake. Moses' staff swallowed up the Pharaohs. The snake swallowed. Manna came from heaven from Prophet Moses. We look at King David and he kills a Goliath, a giant, with a slingshot. Hit him in the eye. And this big old giant falls down. And now I'm not saying these stories are right, wrong, false, or true. But I'm telling you that our concepts of what a prophet is screwed up. A prophet is only, in the best English that I can put it in, it's only one who has been inspired with information to help liberate those around him. I'm saying it again. He's inspired with information to liberate those around him. Now listen, you know and I know. Let's get into some metaphysics. Where do your thoughts come from? Do you make them up? Or do they appear? Where do your thoughts come from? No matter what, some thoughts are building blocks of the thoughts of the past, but initially, where do your thoughts come from? If we can ignite the flame of the spirit within us, the same place some of the thoughts come from, and we don't know where it came from, we can get in tune with that. And these thoughts will be so in tune with the universe that we will be given information to make our life easier and make those around us easier. Being a prophet is not exclusive to one man. However, it takes time to develop this sort of insight, of spiritual in-depthness. It takes a long time. And when a prophet comes to a people, he comes with a solution. He comes with a solution. Hold up, let me carry on. I'm going to read Victor Vega. I have a question, T-Bay. Where in the Bible has there been one prophet that wasn't a Hebrew? Brother, Hebrew is a language, okay? That's first and foremost. Hebrew is a language, and that is a Hebrew Bible. So, of course, every person in the Bible are going to come off as a Hebrew. However, let me switch it for you real quick. Abraham was from the land of Ur. Did he speak Hebrew? Or did he speak another language? He was before. He brought something from the far country. Abraham was from the land of Ur. The Israelite didn't come till after Abraham, but the Abraham is the father of many people, or many nations, if you will. But who was Abraham, according to the Bible? But I don't like to get into the Bible back and forth with that, so I'm not going to turn this show into that. But what I'm saying is, when you look at Melchizedek, Melchizedek existed before the name Israel. Abraham existed before the name Israel. The name Israel came when, I think it was Jacob wrestling with God. He said, your name shall be Israel. So Abraham couldn't have been an Israelite because he existed before the name or the term. But in the universal science, they are still the same people. They are still the same people. That's just like saying Abraham could not have been a Muslim because he wasn't around when Muhammad was around. Well, there's a principle that makes one a Muslim and not a Muhammad that makes one a Muslim. The principle is, I believe that there's no God but Allah, and whoever was the messenger at that time was the messenger of the Almighty God. That's a universal principle. So one that says, how can Abraham be a Muslim? He was in the Bible. Well, I ask, how can he be any other thing? Because the universal golden thread of principle apply beyond name and title. That's why most people on this platform have never heard me shout out a title that I hold in the Moorish Science Temple of America. Some people just think I'm some willy-nilly guy just talking and babbling. Because the principle and the work supports the ideal of what you stand for. That's just what it is. Can't get away from it. I'm not a scholar. I'm just a common sense type brother. Now, back to my point that I kind of lost for a second. The point of the matter is that the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, came with a solution for this problem. Let me answer this question. So he says, so you mean Islam came before Muslims? Absolutely. Islam always was. Now, one of the first things that Muhammad was told to say, and Ish can verify this, when the angel came to Muhammad, he said, Iqra, Iqra. What that mean? What that mean, Ish?
Islam is an everlasting principle unto itself.
Ish, do you ever heard that term where it said when the angel came to Muhammad, he said, Iqra, Iqra? It told him.
I've heard the phrase before.
It told him to read, or
yes,
some translations say
commands him to read, commands to recite. Yeah,
Iqra, Iqra. But the question becomes, if Islam started with Muhammad, what was he reading? If Islam, for instance, if I wrote me a book, and I'm writing a book, and you tell me to read it, I got the material to read. But if I have not written a book and the book don't exist, and you say read the book, I'm gonna say read what? That's why Muhammad said, read what? And the angel Gabriel said, Iqra, Iqra. Like Salam Bey say recite. Some say recite, some say read. But the point of the matter, what is he reciting? He have to recite something that already exists. Come on, man.
Again, Islam is an everlasting principle.
It's like this, man.
Yeah.
Y'all gotta come on home, man. This ain't that willy-nilly Moorish science, man. Can't get me with that slick stuff. But the point of the matter is this, family. Listen. We're not going to use that to be divisive. What I'm saying is this, and I'll pass it back to my guest. What I'm saying is this. Family, Prophet Noble Drew Ali is a prophet true indeed. He came with a solution, and the solution is very simple. It's predicated upon our unity, and then we organize around our unity and execute. What is the execution? The execution is putting ourselves in the position of power, becoming the power. You feel me? Let me answer the brother one more time, brother. Brother, I give you a personal class, brother. Email me to harkabay@yahoo.com. So where you get the name Muslims from, brother, that is a language. One who submits. Man who have feared the Creator or reverence the Creator, reverence the source of creation, have submitted to that source from time immemorial. The phrase Muslim is one who submits, or of those who submit, one who submits their will to Allah. What is the entity? Submitting your will. So anybody that submits their will to the universal creator, the natures, the all-powerful energies, the thing that created all things seen and unseen. When you submit, you merely just, or not merely, you literally are trying to align your will with that will and that force. So there is nothing in creation that would benefit if it didn't have some sort of submission towards that will. So you are born a Muslim whether you like it or not, because born submitting to the same force that took something like a drop of water and turned it into flesh and bone in your mother womb. Talk about some sperm here. Turned it into flesh and bone. That force that did that, we call that force of law. We call that force of law. And a law is only another language to express the infinite deity. I'm sorry I got off track. I gotta answer my guests, I gotta answer my people in the chat. But Prophet Noble Drew Ali is a prophet true indeed, and he has the solution. I'm gonna let my brother Shimzu take it away. Come on, brother. Have the floor yours. You can go all night, brother. Come on, brother. They got me worked up, brother.
Peace, peace, peace. Islam.
That's an excellent breakdown, Taharka. Go ahead, brother Shinzu.
Definitely excellent. This whole show has been. I think the chat room has already said that it's been an awesome show, awesome information. Everything has been perfect, right and exact. I just wanted to fast forward. I think it's going to probably before I sign off, but I'm gonna fast forward, drop this a little bit.
Brother, do whatever you want, brother. You at home. Do whatever you want. Just though you can move all the chairs around except for this one right here.
I would never do that, King. Peace. I appreciate that. So we went from we looking at the 1600s, 1705, 1728, and now we're moving into like I said, the revolts were happening because people were fed up and they weren't going to put up with being enslaved. People want to be free. 1776 they had the Civil War, and then we could move on up to the 1800s, and they were going back and forth with trying to control with these black slave codes, and then 1865 with Lincoln and Civil War, and then the KKK, and then we have the birth of the Prophet during the Reconstruction period in the late 1800s. And I just wanted to bring that in, and then the Prophet tried or not trying, but putting in place the answers for us to be able to reach back or Sankofa and draw from and try to maneuver our way out of these away from being under the bonds of these overseers, under these laws and statutes, and commanding and becoming a entity of ourselves, and for us to come together and be as one. Moorish Science Temple of America. Peace.
Indeed, brother. I appreciate that. And like I say, during the Prophet's time, we had many people that was a part of the Moorish Science Temple of America that never even thought twice about supporting it. They didn't feel as though that they had to don affairs every day, or they had to wear a robe and a sash and all that. The Prophet had 3,000 members, and you ain't gonna tell me that you seen in the first convention picture 3,000 people. You know what that means? He had 3,000 supporters. He had 3,000 registered people. So when he be able to come to these people that think they running something, say, listen, it took you 900 votes to get in. I got 3,000. I got 3,000. We need A, B, C, or D. Matter of fact, we need it all. Now we're going to work with you. But you're going to have to deliver. Got 3,000 people now. We know what it takes to get in. And this is how you reclaim your birthright. This is why the Prophet Noble Drew Ali had 3,000 people ready to vote for a judge, 2 aldermen, as well as a brother in Congress. And everyone that they voted for got in office. And the Moorish Science Temple of America went from here to there overnight. It is what it is. So me, your brother, Taharka Bay, say, let's do this again. And let's build something for the next generation to carry on. Y'all can talk about Taj Tariq all you want. Y'all can talk about temple all you want. But until everybody is on the same page that the Prophet Noble Ali was on, and the method and ideology is still the same, we're going to stay suffering because he is a prophet of God. Ain't nobody trying to put you into some religious bag. Again, Prophet Noble Ali had 3,000 people in Chicago. Show me a picture with 3,000 people. I can show you a roster, possibly. I can show you his words that he had 3,000 registered members. But show me a picture with 3,000 people. You know what that means? He had 3,000 people to support the cause of gaining political power that would take us to the next level. And because of that, that's why the Prophet Noble Ali in 1929 passed form and was taken from us. Because other people wanted this political power. Other people wanted this fortune that was amassed by the Moors that you don't hear people talk about. Other people wanted that. You follow me? So the point of the matter is that we have what it takes to get it back, but it's going to take unity. Now let me ask this. He said, my brother Key Johnson has some legit questions, but the past month his posts have been blocked. How can people get understanding if they're not allowed to ask questions? Brother, tell me his name and I unblock him. The point of the matter is, brother, I'm not going to answer antagonistic or disrespectful questions. He must have been being disrespectful or something. I don't know. But if you're being antagonistic, I mean, come on, man. We like grown people and you talking about why the Moors wear that dumb tassel. Like for real. Like, you really think I'm entertaining that? You know what I mean? Why Moors continue to talk about you ain't black? Maybe because you're not, but I mean, give a better intelligent question. Maybe you can say, brother, explain to me the legitimacy of being a Moorish American and how does it have an effect on what we do in everyday life? That's an educated question. But don't come with an antagonizing question. Anyway, what we must do. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't block him. If he was respectful, I wouldn't block him. Give me a name and I unblock him. I can't unblock him while the show going, though. But what I need you to do is put his name up there and I unblock him. But a moderator could have blocked him. I don't know. But so anyway, family, the Prophet Noble Ali comes with the remedy. I'm telling you, I know the remedy. I know the remedy. No, it's not some magic wand trick. Oh, he got it. Why nobody else got it? I just want work. I just want work for the people. Maybe some people just don't want work for the people. They want work for position. I mean,
it's an excellent job, Brother Taharka. Excellent job of the service, brother.
I mean, some people just want work for position instead of work for the people. Some people want to work to be a Grand Sheik, Supreme Grand Sheik, but I just want to work for the people. I want to see some resolution. I want to see my son take this to the next level. Again, I told the brother today, even if we had a schoolroom to start with teaching 10 Moorish Americans, that's better than what anybody else has left us. If I can create a schoolhouse that can teach, certifiably teach 10 Moorish children, that's still better than what anybody else left us. That's better than a phony RB Bay website. That's better than any Moorish American website that people ain't putting the work on the ground compiled with the information. And what I'm saying, phony Moorish American website, I'm talking about it's one thing with a great website, but you better match it with some work in this era of time. It's all right for Taharka Bay to be on Moorish World TV, but I'm going to back mine up with some work on the ground. To all you super scholars, holler. This era for the workers. You ain't building on the ground, you worse than a twerker. Let's wrap it up, man. Let's wrap it up. Hey, Switch, take me out. Man, listen. This is the Rock Kimala. Allow me to reintroduce my bro. He's the Rock Kimala of the conscious community.
Peace, brother Doc. Look, it's great. It's great to be on the show, brother. I just say that, looking at the black codes and how it was all shut down, a big major part of that was the revolution of Haiti. We're talking about 1791 to 1804. The revolution of Haiti, it broke the back of France financially. France had a strong stranglehold in that Louisiana area. We see the codes that they set up. We see the kind of laws that they set up. But once they started losing all that money, going to war and losing that war to Haiti, it broke them. So they couldn't be spending all their money financing a war and financing the land over here. And when they sold the Louisiana Purchase, it opened up 13 states. 13 United States that we have today is because of the revolution in Haiti, defeating France. So we can't underestimate that, and understanding that the power of true revolution and true insurrection, it works hand in hand with our liberation here in this land. So I just wanted to definitely put that on the record. But I also want to let you know, Brother Taharka, that you give us an opportunity to come and build on your show. And you build this platform for us, and we honor that, and we're respectful of that. And the great questions that came from the chat room, I thought that they were very insightful. I think that they were very sincere. So I definitely wanted to thank the people sharing the wisdom. And I think that you really just went in tonight. You're going to look back on this tape later on. You're going to look at this video later on. And you're going to see how deep you were locked in. And sometimes we have to let our brother rock out when he's locked in. And I understand that the spirit was really taking you to a really deep level tonight. And I was very impressed. You balanced out a lot of your Friday teachings, answering a lot of the questions that people had, as well as there was a lot on your heart and in your mind that you wanted to pull out of these black codes. And you got to let your brother rock out. So I'm very proud of you tonight. You did a lot of great teaching tonight.
It is long, brother. And I would like to say, brother, anytime Shimzu or anybody else, let me tell you something. I'm looking for the brother that they say I blocked, right? And I blocked Shimzu one time. You know that, Shimzu? I blocked you.
Yeah, man, you talked about that, though.
Yeah,
I was cutting up. I was being a mischief maker in the chat room one time.
Yeah. But guess what, though? I mean, let me go right here. One thing about me, true indeed, is I'm like this. In reality, I'm truly like this, bro. I don't take this personal. You know what I'm saying? I really don't. My thing is this. I understand. Let me go to my channel real quick. I understand. I want to look at the chat real quick. I understand that our people have been through some things. You know what I'm saying? The Prophet Noble Drew Ali makes a statement that is so profound and so true that I repeat it all the time. He says that we suffer from the principles that delude to slavery. And some of these principles, brother, will allow us go in and out of consciousness. I will go in and out with you. You may go in and out with me. I may go in and out with Ed. She may, because our experience on this side of the playing field, being subjugated by this European and colonizer, man, he had put something deep in us that sometimes it will show its head and we're not even aware of it, and we're conscious. So I call it going in and out of consciousness. It's like when you sleep and you wake up and then you go back to sleep. You know what I mean? Wake up, go back to sleep. And that can happen at any given moment, you know. And so I try my best to make sure that when I do have a conflict, it appears to be a conflict with my brother, that I make sure that in my heart there is no malice intent, because the heart is what is weighed but with the feather. You feel what I'm saying? So I make sure that I have no malice intent. I don't care if I'm talking about Dodge. I don't care if I'm talking about Cujo. I don't care if I'm talking about Roy Bay. You would never hear Roy Bay was on a show the other day. He told me to, all type of homosexual terms in the chat. And I just looked at it and just shook my head. Like, good goodness gracious. Good goodness gracious. Because I'm not going to take the energy of anger with me on my journey to what I got to do. My job is to make sure our people understand that Moorish science is not what it's been portrayed to be. It's not no walking in the temple singing funeral burial songs. It's not the church where it's not that. Moorish science is a vehicle to organize us, and so we can execute the plans as laid down by Prophet Noble Ali through the will of the Creator. But nobody talks about the plan. I just gave a glimpse of the plan today. If somebody get into office with 600 votes on the local level, and you can organize 1,000 people, you can take one person out of that 1,000 and vote for him and put them in office. That person can cut the check. This is how it works. This is how it works. Don't take no special qualification to be voted into anything. This is how it works. Now we want to make sure that we got the best qualified. However, if it takes 1,000 people to offset the vote, can we organize 1,000 people? Can we organize 2,000? Can we organize 3,000? And at that point, there is no need to stand in that city hall. Why y'all ain't put no air conditioning in the school? This don't make any sense. Okay, step aside. Next one come up. And my community is right next to the urban center, and the crime is flowing over. Okay, step aside. Next up. Man, why we ain't got no place for the children to play? That's what slaves do. Become a boss. Put your people in position. And in that way, your people will go up. Man, this school got to be torn down. What's the budget? How much tax money have been paid within this district? Oh, we got plenty money. Yeah, we need to get that. But when you put a stranger in, they're going to take that same money that you been bought a book in your district, or bought some jeans and paid tax off in your district, or bought some blunts, some drinks. They're taking all that tax money and sending it somewhere else because nobody is claiming. It's like baggage claim. If you don't claim it, they're getting rid of it. Somebody else will use it. This is why the Prophet Noble Ali demonstrated civics in the way he did. He didn't demonstrate no civics like Taj Tariq. Hell, if Taj Tariq's civics was so good, why are we still in the same condition? And you may ask me, well, if Prophet Noble Ali got it right, why are we in the same condition? Look at me and hear me out. Because people are not doing it like the Prophet Noble Ali did it. That's just what it is. Any closing remarks, my brother Shimzu?
Islam. Yes. Just want to say, I appreciate you, appreciate the work you do. Appreciate you allowing me to be on your platform. I'm glad I was able to share some thoughts on the subject, and just keep doing what you're doing, brother.
Indeed, brother. I appreciate you. I appreciate you, brother. And brother, whenever you if you want to do a part 2, let me know. We back on it with the Black Codes. If you want any other topic, anybody out there in the chat that have any topics, you can email me at tahakabay@yahoo.com. I take any questions. Brother Keon K. Johnson, I'm going to look and I'm going to unblock you. I take any questions, but just make them make sense. Don't ask me dumb questions, man, where you just intentionally antagonizing, because I'm not going to respond to that. I mean, I'm going to block you, I'm going to cut you off. Like, even on my Facebook, if you come on my Facebook with silliness, I block you, because many people want to be friends on my Facebook, and I need to create another space anyway for people to learn. I use my Facebook for people to learn. I don't use it to communicate with family, cuss out baby mama, argue and talk about what I ate yesterday. Yes, look at this pie. Let me take a picture. I don't do none of that. My Facebook is strictly to reach people with practical Moorish science. Period. Point blank. Any closing words, Brother Ish?
No, sir. Just you allowing us on the show is, good enough for me, brother. No, I'm just honored to be here and honored to be amongst the family.
And I appreciate y'all. And with that, I'm gonna close this out, family. Because I went longer than we expected. I get to talking, you know what I mean? I sometimes I get to talking, man. I don't know. My grandmother, she up in me, man. My grandmother, man, she could talk. She used to say, well, I'm gonna tell you one more thing. I'm gonna say one more thing, and then I'm done. And I'm gonna say one more thing, and I'm gonna let you go. And I'm like, man, it's like 9 o'clock. You've been saying that since 4. You know what I mean? So honest to my grandmother, man. Love my grandmother, man. She's moved on. Matter of fact, in the future, I'm gonna share this video that I took of my grandmother before she passed. She passed away at like 94. And I think you would like this, Ish. She passed away at 94. And me personally, I don't believe that I was a part of the slave trade that came over on the shores. But I do believe we are still the same people. I believe that my people was here. And the reason why is because my grandmother, 95, I think she was like 94, 95 when she passed. And I got it on video when she was 92. She passed away about 2 years ago. And I said, Grandma, I said, let me ask you a question. I said, how far can you go back? And she said to me, she said, what do you mean? I got this on, I taped it. She said, what do you mean? I said, do you remember slavery time? My grandmother looked at me and said, well, no. I said, well, where did my great-grandmother, her name, we called her Mother, Ruby Queen, honest to Ruby Queen. We called her Mother. And I said, well, how far did Mother could go back? She said, oh, Mother's father came here from the West Indies. And I said, well, when he came from the West Indies, where did he live at? She said, well, in Virginia. I say, well, if you 90 and Mother lived some 70 years and her father came, I said, that's during slavery time. She said, well, no, we never had any slave stories. No, I don't. She looked at, and I got a video. So I don't know what to tell you about that. And I remember reading that there were free, quote unquote, Moors or people of African descent or indigenous descent in Virginia. And so I said, man, I got to do further research. And so I went further to ask her about my grandfather and my great grandfather. And the furthest thing he could remember is working for Europeans, but not being subjugated to slavery. And he could go back to his father and so forth and so on. And I got it on tape. And so I say all that to say that in this land that we call America today, it was free people look like you and I while slavery was in full swing.
Absolutely.
Full swing.
Absolutely.
And so I'm gonna. I don't know. I gotta discuss it with my family first because my grandmother didn't like to take pictures. She was a true Muslim. She was a cultural Muslim. She didn't like to take pictures or nothing.
Right.
And so even when I'm filming her, I got the camera kind of hidden. She looking at it like I know you filming me, but the point of the matter is that I got to discuss it with my family before I bring it to the public. But it's very insightful of our journey, very insightful.
Yes, sir.
And that's why I try to tell brothers who claim the indigenous title, it's okay, but don't deny your African roots either, because all of this is a connection. We are descendants from the shores. Northwest and southwestern shores of Africa. That doesn't mean that they plucked everybody out off the southwestern shores and brought them across the Atlantic. We was here before they came. Some came after. But let's not let that divide us.
And the way in which you carry yourself, it identifies your ancestors speak through you, and it's an unyielding, commanding spirit of them using you as a vessel. And always maintain that, brother. You have a very strong lion-like spirit. It's like a roaring lion, and it's unyielding and it's unrelenting. And Allah bless you for that. So yes, it's your ancestors walking through you, and you're representing them. You know, so don't allow somebody to put a false narrative on what you know is the truth. The worst thing that a person can do today is to sell out their ancestors to buy into some false narrative that's being fed to them by some nigga on YouTube.
Exactly.
Just because they're angry, or maybe they are descendants of slaves, don't allow them to put that narrative on you and what your parents have told you, and your grandparents and your ancestors have told you. Don't make them out to be a liar. Do not call your because your ancestors protect you.
That's right.
So you have to stand true to what you know. I know what I was told. I just had to go find the documentation to prove it. And by Allah's grace, I went back to 1585 to prove everything that was being told to me.
Right, right.
That I'm going to trust my great-great-grandmother before I trust anybody else trying to tell me something.
Exactly.
And Allah bless you, brother. Allah bless you for that.
I appreciate that. And in closing, I'm trying to tell you, family, any discussion that we have, it shouldn't cause for malice thoughts, malicious thoughts. And that's with anybody. I would love Taj Tariq come on the show and explain his concepts of Moorish science next to mine. I would love Sabir Bey explain his concepts of Moorish science next to mine. But guess what they're going to say? Oh, he's want to be like Sarnetta. Nope. I want to get the real information to the people. That's it. That's it. So the people can decide. And I say this, and I'm gone. Grandma, I'm gone, Grandma. Goodness. I'm going to say this and I'm gone. For many, many years, a lot of what Taj has taught have gone unchecked, meaning that there was nothing to compare it to. Now you have a loud mouth, well-founded, well-grounded brother in the Moorish Science Temple of America that says, let's make the comparison. I'm never going to disrespect you. I'm never going to call you out your name. I'm never going to call you a liar. But I will say this. What you teach, and when I mean call you a liar, I'm not going to look you in your face and say you're lying. Because what you teach may be true to you. And I would never disrespect anyone like that. But what I will say, what you teach is not what Noble Drew Ali teaches. And you may say by default, that's calling you a liar. No. I'm not calling you out your name. I don't call names. That's what children do. I'm saying your truth may be that I believe you believe most of that stuff. So it's not a lie to you. I ain't gonna call you no malicious names. I'm just gonna say, man, listen, that's bottom line. Let's put the truth next to the truth as you know it and as I know it, and let the people decide. For many years, this stuff has went unchecked. Well, you got something to compare it to now. Bratton Bay, you had something to compare it to right now. I'm right in Baltimore, brother. Now, last, this is it. Man, shout out to my Mufti. Shout out to my Mufti, Ishmael Bey. My Mufti and I today went and established our first business under our temple here in Baltimore, so we can hire our brothers and sisters to demolish some of these homes and begin to hire people hopefully next week. You see what I'm saying? We did it today. This is the first business that me and him has established under Temple number 22 in Baltimore, Maryland, to hire our people. More, we doing big things. Shout out to my Mufti. Many people don't see him because he stay in the background, and a lot of y'all tough talkers don't want to see him anyway. And some people may have peeped him on some of the videos, and you might see him shadowing me sometimes, man. But I trust that brother with my life. I'm a big mouth. I'm a lion spirit, as my brother Ish said. And to have a brother like that, to have my back, man, it's a blessing, man. Honest to my Mufti, man. You probably won't ever see him on camera too much because we don't get down like that. Because he ain't for the show. But man, this brother, man, is amazing. And I honor this brother, because he stepped up to the plate and we got some things done today. And we are going to be hiring our people, hopefully next week or week after next. The next thing we're looking for is insurance. It's a demolition company to demolish some of these homes here in Baltimore that they tearing down anyway. We're going to try to get every contract we can and put our people to work under the Moorish Science Temple of America. That's what real Moorish Americans do. It is what it is. So shout out to my family, man. Shout out to my people in the chat, my brother Akhenaten, Love Star Nelson, and all those in the chat, man. Peace and love. I'll be back tomorrow, hopefully with something else. I think I got something for you. I'm not sure yet. Somebody might say something crazy to me, and I might want to wild out tomorrow. Yeah, I might want to. Okay? Islam, peace and love. I'm up out of here. I'm gone.